If there was any doubt that summer is delayed, the heat has surely erased that notion. The country is experiencing daily temperatures of up to 38 degrees Celsius. On today's show, we hope to keep you cool and hydrated. Also, information for our nation's farmers on how to get their produce into the tourism sector. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson, your guide as we turn the pages. Stay with us. There's much to know and learn.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, July 2. Cornwall Regional Hospital has a new $50 million radiology department. Officially opened on Friday, the state-of-the-art facility offers X-rays, computerized tomography CT scans and ultrasound services. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the new radiology department, coupled with the recent opening of an accident and emergency unit, are part of the building blocks in the restoration of the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Supported by this facility here, I am prepared to say that we have now in Western Jamaica, coming out of the crisis of Cornwall, the most modern trauma center, equipped with the diagnostic, radiography equipment, the staff, the emergency services, including operating theater and waiting areas, and can compare with any other such facility, not just in Jamaica, but certainly in the region.
Cabinet has approved the re-establishment of the Jamaica Energy Council, the JEC, to continue the implementation of policy and sustainable development of the island's energy sector. The approval was given in late June. In a statement Tuesday, the Energy Ministry said the Council would facilitate consensus and minimize the negative influence of partisan and other forms of special interest groups and individuals on the energy sector. The work of the JEC is supported by the National Energy Policy 2009 to 2030. It provides the framework to pursue a comprehensive program for improving Jamaica's energy efficiency, facilitating fuel source diversification, and long-term energy security. The national decision-making body will be chaired by Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Favour Williams. It will also comprise representatives from government ministries, departments and agencies, as well as the opposition spokesperson on energy, academia and the private sector. The Jamaica Energy Council was first established in March 2012. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett is now reviewing the report on the island-wide security audit of the hotel sector. The review was commissioned by Minister Bartlett and carried out by the Tourism Product Development Company with help from international security expert Dr. Peter Tarlow. Its aim is to ensure that Jamaica remains a safe, secure and seamless destination for visitors and locals. Minister Bartlett says the security audit report was completed recently.
We will have further discussions with the JHTA as to the recommendations and then how together we craft the new architecture for safety and security in Jamaica.
Minister Bartlett was speaking at Saturday's 58th Annual General Meeting of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association in Montego Bay. Meanwhile, a team from the Tourism Ministry is now perusing the report from a comprehensive review of issues in this sector. The review was done by the Tourism Working Group, which is headed by senior partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, Wilfred Bagaloo. The team looked at matters such as entertainment, noise abatement, work permits, and transportation. Minister Bartlett says the recommendations will inform approaches to deal with the new tourism models and their impacts on indigenous sectors.
Beyond the executive summary that they provide, a summary that we are putting together for the benefit of the ministers so that decisions can then be taken. And for discussion, of course, with the sector.
Government is looking to identify permanent solutions to the water challenges facing some communities across the island. That's the recommitment from Senator Peanel Charles Junior, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. He was speaking with stakeholders at the St. Elizabeth and Manchester municipal corporations recently. The meetings sought to identify sustainable solutions to address water challenges in drought-affected communities.
What I'm hoping to hear from you is an articulation of those minor systems or areas in your divisions and constituencies where you think there are things that could be fixed that would alleviate the need for trucking.
While long-term solutions are being implemented, Minister Charles says the state will continue to truck water to affected areas. And finally, the Chetolah Park Primary School in Hannahtown now has a $13 million special education unit. The special education unit merges the neighboring Mel Nathan Preparatory School and has been renamed the Chetolah Mel Nathan Special Education Unit. It's equipped with 4 refurbished classrooms and bathrooms, an assessment room, access ramp, multimedia projectors, Mimeo tools, books, furniture, and storage facilities. The upgraded facility is the result of a partnership between the Ministry of Education and the Digicel Foundation. It caters to the needs of primary-age children who have learning and other developmental challenges. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Report from Petrojam Review Committee to go before Parliament. Ground broken for a multi-billion-dollar Morant Bay Urban Center and educators recognized for their service to the nation. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Simone Wolf. Prime Minister Andrew Holness returned to the country on Monday following his 2-day visit to the Cayman Islands. Mr. Holness was on an official working visit to commemorate the Cayman Islands' 60th anniversary of its first written constitution. Before delivering the main address at the function, Mr. Holness held talks with the Minister of State, Lord Ahmad of Wimbledon. The two spoke about increasing cooperation on issues such as climate change, disaster resilience, security, trade, diaspora relations, and correspondent banking. Bilateral talks with Premier Alden McLaughlin centered on trade, business, and agricultural collaboration. Along with Minister Darrell Vaz, Prime Minister Holness explored business opportunities with the private sector on the island. The Jamaican diaspora, which reportedly makes up 40% of the Cayman Islands, was also engaged by Prime Minister Holness. Before his departure Friday, the Prime Minister convened the first meeting of the Violence Prevention Commission. Announced last year, the Commission is charged with examining all aspects of violence and ways to address it to ensure lasting solutions in the country. In addition to issuing terms of reference for the group, Mr. Holness asked that the membership be expanded to include representatives from the Ministries of National Security and Education, as well as the private sector organization of Jamaica. Earlier in the week, the Prime Minister broke ground for the $49.8 million Morant Bay Urban Center in St. Thomas. The 365,000 square feet town center is to be built on the site of the old Goodyear factory on the outskirts of the parish capital. It will house an assortment of government and private sector offices, including a courthouse and business process outsourcing space. The project, which is being spearheaded by the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, is expected to provide 3,000 jobs.
I want it to be known that the government is standing behind this project. And we will ensure that this project is done.
And while in Morant Bay, the Prime Minister unveiled plans for the expansion of the Garmex Free Zone in Kingston. He said Cabinet had approved the Factories Corporation of Jamaica's expansion of the commercial and industrial property, which is at full occupancy. In Phase 1 of the project, 150,000 square feet of the planned 595,000 square feet space will be added. Prime Minister Holness said works were also ongoing at the 810,000 square feet Nagahead Technology Park in St. Catherine. The technology park will cost the Factories Corporation of Jamaica $8.1 billion to build.
It will house mostly BPO activities, but it is a technology park, so we want to also encourage new business in technology to occupy the park under a special economic zone operation. And then, beside that project, in partnership with the UDC, they're also going to construct a 120,000 square feet commercial and industrial complex valued at $1.2 billion, which will be a supporting facility for the tech park.
By Wednesday evening, the Prime Minister was back in Kingston to recognize 40 educators with over 1,250 years of combined contribution to the education system. The 2019 Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation was held on the North Lawns of Jamaica House. Mr. Holness used the occasion to stand by the Primary Exit Profile, PEP, saying it was a viable alternative to the previous high school placement test, GSAT. According to the Prime Minister, PEP is part of the creation of a new Jamaica, where persons apply critical thinking and the process of investigation to find solutions to problems.
Amid the rapid societal changes, our approaches, programs, and areas of emphasis must keep pace to be relevant to contemporary society and to the future.
The results of the first sitting of PEP was released on June 21. On Thursday, the Prime Minister was at another education function. This time, he was the keynote speaker at the Campion College 2019 graduation ceremony.
Take all the actions necessary to achieve your goals now. Because you, at this time, may believe you have a long time to go. But time stands still for no man.
Mr. Holness also lauded the church's involvement in assisting government with the delivery of quality education to the nation's children. Before that, Mr. Holness was in office Thursday to receive an audit report he had requested into the operations of state-owned oil company Petrojam. Led by businessman Christopher Zaka, the Petrojam Review Committee found that for Petrojam to remain commercially viable, its operating efficiencies must improve. Other recommendations are that an investment of $78 million is needed to increase productivity, and that the state should seize active management of both the terminal and the refinery through a long-term lease of Petrojam's assets. Mr. Holness said the cabinet considered the report but had not made any decisions regarding the committee's findings.
The report will be made public, and the stakeholders, even though many of them would have had the opportunity to speak to the committee, might want to go public with their views as well. And then we gauge public opinion, engage the public in this conversation, and we make a decision. This is not an unbounded period of engagement. We have some critical timelines on these things because the refinery is now not operating at its fullest.
And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
You may be aware of disabilities such as blindness or deafness. There is also, however, intellectual disability, a condition that affects thousands of Jamaicans. Next, those living with intellectual disabilities share their stories of grit and triumph.
My name is Nadine Barrett, and my son is Lance Barrett. Lance is a child with intellectual disability and he is also diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Lance was born a 7-pound, 5-ounce baby, 3 months in his life. He wasn't talking, well, 3 months don't talk, but he wasn't crawling around, he wasn't sitting up, he would smile, and I know something was wrong. I can remember this one time, even to this day I spoke about it, tears come to my eye. A doctor came and she was like, "Mommy, this child not going to live to see 2. But my motto is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
I'm Nephi Shiva, and I'm a person with intellectual disability. And I used to also come to the School of Hope, Randolph Lopez School of Hope. And then I graduated at the age of 18 years old. But he keep on coming up by Jade to tell him that I can't get any work, and then after they call me and tell me that there's a position here for as a janitor work. First time when I just started, I used to think that I couldn't do the work before, but now I see that it's something that I can able to do, and like because it's use my hands is not really like using the brain.
Intellectual disability is characterized by significant limitations in both intellectual functioning and in adaptive behavior, for instance, in communication, daily living, and social skills. The disability usually originates before the age of 18.
One of the features of intellectual disability is that the persons will have below average IQ. Average IQ is about 100, right? Below average would be anywhere between 70 to 75 and below.
Intellectual disability is diagnosed usually by a psychological assessment. This is inclusive of intelligence, adaptive or behavioral and educational tools done by a clinical educational psychologist. These tools are standardized instruments used specifically to identify levels in the areas of intellect and adaptive behavior. In addition, interviews with family and other relevant persons are done to elicit significant history and other data about functioning related to the persons being assessed. Intellectual disability must not be confused with mental disability.
The important thing is that, and we have to be cognizant of, is that research says that almost 50% of the causes of intellectual disability are unknown. We don't know.
Right up until today, I sit and wondered sometimes. It's like I tried to go back to the first time I remember that I was pregnant and what I did or what I didn't do, or what. There's nothing that I can think of.
Intellectual disability is what they call an invisible disability. People tend to look for something physical. A lot of times there are no visible signs. And so parents tend to be in denial about the child not meeting the milestones, because they don't have a physical disability. So they tend to say, boy, nothing is wrong.
Believe me, it was hard. It was really, really hard. Because having a child that was normal, my daughter, and then having Lance, and to hear that he has a disability, I was wondering, how am I going to cope?
There is a perception that people with intellectual disability have no sense and they can't do things, so that's a myth. So intellectual disability is really just limitations in intellectual functioning. They will learn, but they will do it much slower.
Jade helped me a lot, because if it never for them, I wouldn't know what I would do.
This is a program that we manage in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, Information and Youth. We are in 13 of the 14 parishes, so we do have a national network. We have 5 main schools with their affiliate learning centers. Students within this program They are from ages 6 years to 21 years. So it's really students and youth. They want to be integrated, they want to be included. All they need are opportunities. They'd love to be involved in employment. They'd love to be integrated in their communities. They want other people to see them as valuable members of society. They want to be loved. They want to belong to groups as well. And so even leisure and community activities, they want to be a part of that. And if we're moving into the whole realm of including people, despite your challenges, that's the way we should do it in our communities.
You're not to always listen to what people say about a disability, because if you keep on saying that you have a disability, it's going to put you down, and it's going to make you downgrade yourself and say that you can't do anything for yourself in life.
I look at Lance as a normal child. Before that anyway, I used to limit Lance in doing things. I stopped all of those. I allow Lance to come in the kitchen. He bakes, he cooks, he makes juice, he cuts up vegetables. So the only thing that he does not do at home or anywhere else is walk as yet. And I put it as yet because I still have hope for my child.
Want more information on intellectual disability? Contact JADE. Their headquarters is at 7 Golding Avenue in Kingston. Also, you may call at 876-977-1118 or email jade@cwjamaica.com.
The Ministries of Tourism and Agriculture have collaborated to get more local produce into hotels. Watch this next feature to see how these drivers of economy are buying more Jamaican products.
Many times we have so many things that we can't sell. We have, because sometimes all the farmers goes out and plant Irish potatoes, and it's too much. So what we do is just use the phone, same place in the field, get to them, and they try everything, and they know it. Before them, we only have spoilage. We can't sell. So no matter how it glut in the whole island, they find a way to unload it.
Bye-bye farm produce glut. Alex is here to move farmers' produce onto the plates of visitors to our shores.
The Agri Linkages Exchange Center, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Willis. How are you doing? Okay. So what do you have reaping now?
We have a portion of corn ready, you know.
Is that sweet corn? Okay, sir. Let me just add that to the database for you. How much corn are you reaping?
We have 12 dozen corn ready, you know.
What's the selling price? 120 per dozen?
So you can look the buyer for me anytime you're ready. You hear, boss?
Another problem, Mr. Willis. I'll post the information for you, and once the market is available, I'll give you a call and let you know. All right, Mr. Willis, thanks for calling.
As easy as that, farmers are reaping economic benefits through tourism. The Agri Linkages Exchange is an electronic platform where buyers and sellers of agricultural produce meet. Currently, there are agro-brokers who manage the platform. They operate from the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, St. Andrew office. It's a collaboration between the Ministries of Tourism and Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. The center has raked in more than $50 million in sales for approximately 400 farmers across the country.
This program is dedicated specifically to the farmers, and what we were trying to solve was the fact that a number of our hotel, especially our hotel purchasing personnel, had difficulty getting produce that was in season, out of season, or even where they were located. So you'll find that particular fruits that will be in abundance in the eastern end of the island never ever gets to the west, and vice versa. For example, mangoes. Mangoes are very abundant in the east, and again the west would love to have some of the fruits that we have in abundance at one place. So the Agri linkages exchange platforms would have been a link to ensure that both buyers and sellers meet. At this point, we have 55 hotels on it. We have 7 agro-processors. We have about 5 retail operators, but the retail are really large personnel. And each day is another day in which persons are added.
I was at a production and marketing meeting in my community where we were discussing gluten, where we can unload our produce. So one of the RODA extension officer recommended us to Alex. I just get my phone, get registered, and that's it. Since Alex, we have more in demand than supply. It's been so good for us, trust me.
There are farmers who might not be technologically savvy to actually go on the system themselves, so they'll call into the center and ask, and these agro-brokers will be able to put them on the system.
On a daily basis, I would say we get from maybe 20 calls per day or so from farmers. A lot of the calls that we do get, surprisingly, are farmers who are new to agriculture. They are curious about what Alex is about. Persons are now realizing that technology, agriculture, and production can all mix.
We supply and deliver produce, fruits, vegetables to hotels and restaurants. It's about 10 hotels that we supply on a weekly basis. Hotels that we supply, it's from small to large hotels. We found out about the Alex Center through a farmer. It is a very good initiative.
On a daily basis, we probably make contact with 20-30 buyers on behalf of our farmers, and they themselves, the buyers do call the center. Buyers request a varied amount of quantity produce depending on what the usage is. If it's for agro-processing or export, the volumes will range from as small as a small agro-processor may need 80 pounds of sorrel or 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, but then you have an exporter who will need 10,000 pounds of sweet potato, 15,000 pounds of pumpkin, 20,000 pounds of other produce. So the volumes vary depending on the usage. We walk with the farmers and we stay with them until the transaction is completed, until they're paid, until the goods are delivered.
Our hotels are interested in buying local produce. There's really no substitute for the produce that we actually produce here. If you were to import any of our grown provision, it wouldn't taste the same. And therefore, there's really no incentive for the hotels to be purchasing overseas. What we have not had from our local industry is exactly where it is and in what quantities. And Alex has been able to solve that mischief somewhat.
It's simple, man. Just get the phone or come down to the RODA where the office is, register with Alex, and that's it.
The magazine closes for today, but please visit our social media pages. We're just a click away. You may also download our app to be notified of our latest stories and features. Don't forget to give us a like or leave a comment on our pages. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.